What are some famous examples of sabotage in history? Have you ever wondered how ordinary workers have fought back against powerful systems? One of the most striking methods they have used is sabotage. This tactic has roots in socialist movements and labor economics, where it served as a form of protest against exploitation. Sabotage involves deliberate actions to disrupt or damage operations, often as a way for workers to reclaim their rights. Let's look at some notable historical examples of sabotage. In the early 20th century, the industrial workers of the world, a radical labor union, embraced sabotage as a tactic. They encouraged actions like working to rule, where workers would slow down production or cause minor malfunctions in machinery. For instance, agricultural workers were advised to let grain sacks rip or loosen nuts on wagon wheels. This nonviolent disruption pressured employers to meet workers' demands without causing physical harm. Another significant example comes from the Malayan communist insurgents between 1948 and 1960. During their anti-colonial struggle, they targeted British colonial infrastructure. They sabotaged railway bridges, military camps, and rubber plantations to weaken the colonial economy. While these actions aimed to disrupt British control, they also caused hardships for local populations, which ultimately affected support for the movement. In Mandatory Palestine from 1945 to 1940, Jewish resistance groups like the Haganah and Irgun used sabotage against British military and communication installations. They repeatedly attacked railroads, causing significant disruptions to British operations. These acts were part of a broader struggle for national liberation and self-determination. French syndicalist Émile Pauget described sabotage as a tactic that not only workers used but also a concept to explain the violence caused by capitalists. He pointed out that industrial accidents and environmental disasters could be seen as a form of capitalist sabotage that harms workers and consumers. This perspective highlights sabotage as a tool of class conflict, where workers assert control over production. From a socialist viewpoint, sabotage is more than just property damage. It is a political act asserting workers' rights over the means of production. It challenges the legitimacy of capitalist ownership and serves as a response to alienation, the separation of workers from their labor. While sabotage can take many forms, socialist movements have generally favored nonviolent disruption over destructive acts that could harm individuals. Understanding the history of sabotage informs contemporary labor and social movements. Today, tactics might include digital disruptions or symbolic acts that draw attention to workers' grievances or ecological crises. These methods remain as relevant as tools to balance power between labor and capital. In summary, famous examples of sabotage in history include the subtle workplace disruptions by the industrial workers of the world, anti-colonial sabotage by Malayan communists, and Jewish resistance against British rule. These acts reflected sabotage's role as a form of worker resistance and political struggle within the broader context of socialism and labor economics.